Hey everybody! Welcome to the 17th episode of the yayQuery podcast. The 18th episode.
What? You did that wrong.
Did I do it wrong?
The 17th episode, the 18th episode. Episode 17, the 18th
The 18th episode.
The one where we talk about things that we just did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna take this moment right here on this very warm evening to enjoy, oh my god, this Klondike bar.
You having a Klondike bar?
Do you guys know what I would do for one of those things
Oh
right now?
god.
Honestly,
You have no
Alex,
idea.
you've told me what you were willing to do for a Klondike bar, and I was like completely grossed out. Just saying.
That's so good.
That's not nice, Paul.
That's so good.
Not nice.
Let's get to the content, guys.
So what have you guys been up to last couple weekends? Did you guys
Conferences, man.
I think I did like exactly the same thing as you guys did the last 2 weekends.
Let's just pick a 9-day window.
and
say how many days were yayQuery people together in that window?
I'd say maybe 6?
8? I don't know.
8?
It was a lot of days.
7. We'll call it 7.
This is an accounting podcast. Kidding me?
So we just got back from the jQuery conference in Mountain View in the Bay Area, California. And the weekend before that, thank you, we were at JSConf in DC. So we're going to cover all the awesome highlights of those two conferences. We as in everyone else, because I'm going to keep eating my ice cream. So go ahead, guys.
Okay, so the first thing I heard about JSConf, which was in Washington D.C., it was the 10th not the 10th JSConf. It was JSConf X, which means 10, but it was just the second JSConf in the United States.
It was like 2010.
2010, yes.
2010.
So while I was throwing up from high levels of alcohol consumption, I recall you guys were hearing about Crockford complaining about something that we all have much hearts for.
Oh, you missed Crockford. I forgot.
Mm-hmm. What was he advocating for the complete throwing out of?
So, Papa Crockford, near and dear to our hearts here on the yayQuery podcast, threw us a curveball and spoke a little bit on his JavaScript the good parts and stuff like that. But the whole end of his talk was about how HTML5 is insecure and how we should throw the entire thing out, start over from scratch. Just throw it out. Throw it away, all the way. I swear tears were coming down Mike Taylor's face. I just saw
Mike Taylor.
I was taken aback by that. I felt like that was like the Republican approach to healthcare. It's like, we'll just get rid of this and then we'll move on to more mashups. We promise we're really interested in it. So.
He really likes mashups.
Yeah, Crockford is a mashup fanatic.
Wow.
Yes, that was kind of heartbreaking. Yeah. But then we got to see I was just gonna say that we got to see Brendan Eich, who made us all feel warm and fuzzy inside again.
Brendan Eich was definitely one of the highlights of the conference.
Yeah,
he wore a pirate hat. I have it on good authority. He was on the bus wearing a pirate hat, possibly singing. I'm not sure about that.
It's almost like you can't see the fact that I'm wearing a unicorn hat right now.
Almost like I can't even see that.
Nope.
Well, it's a lot like that. I think it's funny to see Brendan Eich embrace the community now, because before he was kind of a hated individual in the programming world because everyone was like, oh, JavaScript is so terrible, and he was hiding in the deep, dark caves of the internet. And now all of a sudden there's a huge community of people who really, really enjoy what he created. And he's working on some great stuff with ECMA Harmony. He did a lot of straw man proposals after about 10 minutes of random YouTube clips in his talk. But he was very willing to hang out with everyone. So Brendan Eich, father of JavaScript. Not Papa Crockford is like the stepfather of whatever.
Ouch.
Did you say that they're the two dads of JavaScript?
Ike and Crockford are the two gay dads of JavaScript.
Oh, you went there. You went there, all right.
Anyways, so
moving on.
I want to go back to the mashups actually for a second because there's a big mashup that came out this week, and I think that's relevant to our interests. Facebook came out with their whole open graph social thing, specifically social widgets, which includes the like button.
That's like a button, right?
It's like a lot like a button. But so a lot of people, like I think over 50,000 websites have now implemented, including Ajaxian, are near and dear to our heart. But I did some performance stuff looking into the like button, and there's about 12 requests per like button, and over 120 kilobytes or something like that of unique
for a button.
Of unique JavaScript and CSS. And so a lot of stores like Levi's has like 15 pairs of jeans on a page, and each one has a like button. Pretty good concept. I think you're like, I like these jeans, I like these jeans, I like these jeans. Of course, who wants to read that on your Facebook wall? Different story. Either way, it downloads 15 times all that JavaScript because it's all unique hashed URLs for all the JavaScript. So they have like over a meg
of assets, right?
Yeah, a meg of just for the like buttons.
This is heartbreaking because the Facebook guys gave a great talk at JSConf about the stuff they've done, of course, on their own site, but the stuff they've done for performance. Like we're paying attention.
Well, it's clearly not the same
on
guys.
Other people's sites.
McKinday and Tom from Facebook were both. I think there were definitely other people at JSConf, but they were ones I talked to, and they were both very performance minded.
Yeah.
Tom's big in the MooTools camp. And McKinday had some really awesome things to talk about as far as like sticking a tiny bit of JavaScript up at the top of Facebook and then using like HTML forms to do things HTML forms should do, like labels and buttons, and then sticking all the rest of the JavaScript at the bottom. And there are rumors that they're going to do asynchronous script loading soon with a certain friendly library, but I won't go into that.
Ooh. Did they say, so that script that they put at the top that was called Primer, I think they said that they were going to share that.
Yeah, I think they're planning on open sourcing it, but it's not currently open sourced.
Cool. Well.
And speaking of all this performance stuff, Steve Souders, he was gaga over JSConf this year, and I really liked his talk because it was sort of a roundup of stuff that he's talked about at other conferences, but kind of a nice roundup and some new stuff. The best of Steve. It was good stuff, and he talked a lot about. One thing, he's talked at the jQuery conference too, and at both he talked about optimizing caching behavior in browsers, that browsers are acting like we still have 120 meg hard drives instead of 120 gig hard drives.
You guys have 120 gigs on your hard drive? That's amazing.
Science.
Like 320 or something. I don't even know. Wow.
I have the 4 terabytes in the living room under the TV right now, so...
But yeah, he was saying that like most browser caches are really, I forget what the number was, but it was like this tiny
50
little...
meg, 100
meg, 50 meg or 90 meg or something like that. And he's actually been doing surveys of, doing a survey of how much of your cache is used and like asking all the people that he's talking to. And he found at the jQuery conference, he said like for most people 90 or 95% of their cache is used. And so... We're really not caching things in a good way. The browsers aren't caching things in a smart way.
Even the algorithms for what should be cached and what shouldn't need to be changed, because it's kind of like a most recently used gets cached first, and it's kind of from that. But there's some higher costs to downloading certain things over other things. So like things that block should always be cached, and things that don't block should be removed first. So like images and things like that, rather than scripts that are loaded synchronously. So there's some different ways that we can optimize performance there as well. There's a good article on Ajaxian that goes into deeper stuff about that if you want to read more. We'll link it.
Cool.
So let's see what else. In addition to that, we had Dmitry Baranovsky. Awesome, JavaScript hacker. He lives in Sydney, Australia, and he wrote Gordon. He gave a good talk on Gordon and how it's like the best thing ever.
Wait, Did he write Gordon?
Fuck.
He wrote Raphael, a different name.
Male first name plugin, or JavaScript library.
Wait, Paul is breaking. Yeah, I hear like so much distortion right now. It's crazy.
It's Rebecca.
Is it Rebecca or Paul?
Yeah, look at the meter.
Oh no, it's Rebecca.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This shit's all fucked. Totally fucked. Rebecca, we're gonna chop you and then I'll call you back.
Is this better?
No.
Oh my god, that sound is making me want to die.
Hang up on Rebecca.
Bitch.
Oh guys, let's call Skype test call.
Hello, welcome to Skype call testing service.
Hi, Skype call.
Please record the message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
What's up, Skype call? I heard you were a bitch.
Bitch.
So why don't you fucking tell us what we just recorded back to you, bitch? What's up, Skype call? I heard you were a bitch. So why don't you fucking tell us what we just recorded?
Oh, that's right.
To hear your own voice, then you have configured Skype correctly. If you hear this message, but not your own voice, then something is wrong with your audio recording settings.
Something's wrong with your audio recording, bitch.
And settings, or visit skype.com for more help. Thank you for using the Skype call testing service. Goodbye.
Is it just me or does she sound hot?
So hot.
Hell.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. Let's cover the rest of the stuff that went on at JSConf. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go.
One of the best talks that we heard was from Dmitry Baranovsky of Sydney, Australia, who talked about his amazing library, Raphael, which does SVG and VML and kind of like vector graphics amazingness. And basically, he was just a really solid speaker and showed off some badass demos of his shit. And
it was really dry humor and really funny.
Really?
What did he say? That VML was a stinky, smelly piece of shit, I believe was his exact quote.
Probably something like that.
Yeah. Anyways, Paul?
That was good. Okay, in addition to that, we also heard from Toby Taylor of Germany, who is the originator of Gordon, which translates Swift files into SVG, which a lot of people are like, oh, flashed on the iPhone with Gordon, and that's cool. Anyways, he gave a demonstration of how it works and kind of like talked about the innards, and it was pretty rad to hear about that. In addition to that, we also heard from Billy Hoffman, a.k.a. Zoomph. Yeah, and he talked not about web performance, which is what Zoomph is about, but instead drew from his past as a hacker and security analyst and talked about, what was it? It was like all the fucking scary shit.
Security, yeah.
Like, not like standard cross-site scripting or CSRF, but like all this other shit that we hadn't been thinking about that makes it really uncomfortable to be using a web browser.
My favorite thing that he talked about...
Internet, yeah.
My favorite thing that he talked about was so he talked about all these exploits, and then one thing he said was like, well, a lot of people think that we can just kind of scan code for exploits because they're known, right? And so he was like, well, you can hide exploits pretty easily, and everyone was like, oh, no, you can't. No one actually said that, but I'm imagining someone in there was like that. And so he showed us how to translate whitespace into JavaScript code and back and forth. He called it the hydrate and dehydrate method. So if you're into hacking and you really want to hide your code, look up Billy Hoffman, dehydrate and hydrate, and it's in like a PowerPoint presentation somewhere. But anyways, it's like you can stick tabs and spaces that represent characters into a div somewhere, and then the JavaScript goes in and parses that back out as JavaScript and then evals it or throws it into a new function. And it just looks like a blank space in your page, but it actually is destroying your life. We could actually
we should release like a whitespace.js and like use James
Padolsey.
Sorry guys.
Padolsey.
It's late. His parsescripts.js and kind of like script type whitespace /leet. Or something.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. In addition to Billy Hoffman, we also had Aaron Quint. Who is the author of Sammy.js. But instead of talking about Sammy.js, which is what everyone thought he was going to talk about, he gave...
Me.
Oh, wow.
Which is why I didn't go to the talk.
He gave an amazing, like, foodie perspective of charcuterie and bacon and how you make your own bacon, and it was incredible. He had done his homework for sure.
Has anybody made bacon yet since seeing him?
I haven't really had the time.
I've scheduled a pig hunt for the weekend. Anyone who wants to join me in hunting hogs, more than welcome.
I just want the pork belly. I don't want to shoot anything.
He was very knowledgeable. Even when I asked about Fatback, he was just like rolling with the punches. I was very impressed with his bacon knowledge, even to his mother's chagrin.
Yeah, and that was very emblematic of what JSConf is, which is just crazy. So if you get a chance next year, check it out. It is a wild and fun weekend.
I don't think this episode, since we're doing a lot of recap, we're going to hit a lot of our segments, but there's one segment that's kind of behind, and it's my segment, so I need to kind of catch up. So I want to do just a quick yayQuery pillow talk real fast, because this is a pretty important one to my heart, as all pillow talks will be in the future. The closing talk at JSConf, let me wipe my tears, was by Alex Russell. He is the co-founder of the Dojo Dojo Web Toolkit, and he now works at Google on Chrome Frame. He talked on Chrome Frame, but it wasn't so much about what he talked about, more than the fact that he was there, and he had this stubble, and he works at Google, and it was kind of like a conglomeration of everything that was wonderful. So Alex Russell, I think you should check out some of his work. First of all, Dojo Toolkit. Second of all, Chrome Frame. Pretty big plans for Chrome Frame to kind of take over the whole IE6 space and all that kind of stuff. So I really, really appreciate the things that he has done for the community at large. Things that he's written that you guys have no idea. Just buy the Dojo Complete Guide and read his foreword, and you don't even have to read the rest of the book, which is by Matthew A. Russell. Just Alex Russell's foreword, and we have the same name, and I feel like we really hit it off. So, Alex Russell, you win the pillow talk shout out this week. Everyone check him out. I think it's Alex at alex.dojotoolkit.org. Yeah, he also goes by Slightly Off.
In places.
Because, someplace. His handle is Slightly Off. Because, like, before he felt slightly off because we had never met, and now he's directly on.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Go on.
So, on the first day of JSConf, there was, like, a bunch of, like, these guys at lunchtime doing this, like, weird, crazy game show thing. Like,
they were nuts.
That was nuts. What the hell was that? Oh, my God. Wait. That was you guys. I was watching that. Oh, shit.
I think you were there, Adam.
I think you were participating.
Oh, right.
I think you were sort of.
Is that how I got this hat? Maybe? That's how I got this little unicorn.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Right.
We did on the first day of JSConf. yayQuery took over. We did a lunchtime special for everyone, including a beginner's corner, right? Rebecca educated everyone.
Wonders of Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It was rad. And then we did a trivia show. We hope to actually bring this trivia game to the web, and so everyone else can participate. But certainly the hat which Adam is demonstrating right now.
This was the grand prize, actually, but for some reason the winner of the grand prize left
the winner of the grand
table.
prize. Yeah, the winner of the grand prize we only know as Dvorak, since he switched my laptop into Dvorak for the rest of the day, and that hindered. But actually, second place was Racy Morgan from Zappos, and I checked into a lot of their code, and Ray, you're doing good with the script loading and the performance stuff. So shout out to Ray.
Ray's awesome.
He was at JQCon too, which is a good transition to what we were at next week.
Yeah, because not only did we have this unicorn hat, we had these awesome unicorn stickers. I'm showing one right now.
Oh shit!
My JQCon badge.
Oh no, I don't have it.
Well, it's okay. So all of us, badges. When we were at jQuery Con, the next 4 days after getting back from DC, we all flew out to the Bay Area for the whole big jQuery shebang, which we tried to cornify as much as possible. But I think a bunch of us spoke, and we'll be bringing those talks to you in the near future, which means more learning, less extemporaneous chatter, which I know you're all after, right? But why don't we tell everyone about the highlights and highlights of JQCon?
Yeah, let's see. We had James Burke, author of Required.js there, and he was giving everyone an overview of Required.js and how it works in with jQuery. We've mentioned him before, so we won't talk about it. Ryan Florence was there, and a while ago he wrote a post about using the MooTools object-oriented class structure alongside with jQuery, and so it was really nice to have some other library content involved in the conference, so we had him talk about that.
Demo
and his demo, exactly. He made this crazy animated demo.
I was impressed.
With Bob Ross and everything.
You probably don't really need MooTools at all to do that demo at all, but
okay, but it was
a sweet demo.
It was HAWT.
And it was totally classy and object-oriented and inheritance and...
Yeah, the most important object in that was the sword that Hayubasa used to slay Bob Ross.
Adam, I disagree.
One of my favorites.
The second most important object in that demo. That wasn't a good joke. Move on, Paul.
Yeah, I guess the base class.
Okay. One of my favorites was we had a speaker named Menno van Slooten from the Netherlands, and Menno flew over amidst all the volcano drama.
He
presented a testing framework that he's developed. He works at eBuddy, which is it's kind of like Meebo, only European, and it's cool.
It smells worse and stuff like that.
Anyways, his testing framework is really rad because it's a interface testing framework, and you write your tests using jQuery. And anyways, he gave a good overview of it, and at the end of the conference, we helped him out, get it all situated on GitHub, and so now his code is up on GitHub. I've seen a few people use it already, and I'm really excited about that because people are looking for a friendlier approach to the functional testing than what they might be used to with Selenium or something else.
Well, that was such a neat thing to see because when he showed up, he had not released this, and by the end of the weekend, he had released it.
Yeah.
And he came just to talk about this neat thing that he was working on, and that was it was fun to see that evolution over the weekend.
Yeah, and it was he was like, someone was like, so can we get this code? He's like, I came here to ask you guys how to do this, you know? It was like, right. I don't know how to, like, share my work, and it was really cool, and I hope that there's...
GitHub!
Yeah, I hope that there's more people out there that, like, have awesome work and are just waiting for someone to kind of guide them, and if any of our listeners are listening...
It's a guide.
Yeah,
like, hit us up, and we will help you get your shit shared.
I guess I feel like this is worth mentioning. There's no shame in not necessarily knowing things that it seems like everyone already knows, because sometimes you just need a little push. And it seems like everyone wants just to berate you for not knowing something like Git, but everyone needs to take a first step sometimes, so, you know.
Is that the opening lyrics to Family Ties?
Yes. Everyone needs to use a source control tool. Is that, I don't know how the melody goes, but I figured it was something like that. Anyway.
Speaking of Family Ties, Mike Taylor, in the yayQuery family of friends and family, also gave a talk about future-proof HTML5 with jQuery. Mike, obviously, I think the first guest ever on yayQuery. We were happy to have him out there talking about not something necessarily directly like with the library, but a good use case for the library that a lot of people might not necessarily recognize right away, that you can use HTML5 right now, and if you really need, you know, certain features that aren't totally available in all browsers, he showed you kind of the places that you could use jQuery in order to re-implement those HTML5 features as a fallback. And I thought it was really, really good and really, really, really funny, because that's Mike. I love him.
That's just Mike.
We love Mike.
And we had a pretty lively presentation from our friend Rick Waldron. Very lively, all over the place, moving around, shaking, dancing, rapping.
If you're interested in web workers and you're also really, really into hyper-active presentations, you should try to catch his,
also,
because he's really, really passionate.
If you're into web workers, but you're also into like the jQuery style of like normalizing shit so it isn't a pain in the ass to work with, then you'll probably be interested in jQuery Hive, which is what him and the WOOO guys have been make web workers more awesome.
Super sweet stuff. For real.
Yeah, and he did a really good job just explaining what web workers were as well, and for people who weren't familiar with that. So that was a surprise presentation that I really enjoyed.
But I think that what people are familiar with is jQuery, and the reason they're watching this podcast is jQuery. So let's give them what they're after. The jQuery scoop. What did John Resig talk about? I want to know.
John Resig had a keynote at the end of the conference where he wrapped it all up and talked about the jQuery project, the library, its future. Let's see.
Whoa.
One of the things he talked about is that at the last conference, he's like, you know, we're going to do a new jQuery for mobile. It's going to be a mobile-specific build. And it turns out that that's not the case. Instead, we're just going to make sure that jQuery runs, that the real jQuery runs on mobile devices. That's really nice because that way, you know, your site, if you don't create a mobile-specific site, it'll just work on the mobile devices that are supported. And jQuery right now is targeting a pretty aggressive cross-device list for its mobile support.
I think the only sad thing about that is that jQuery is too big to be cached on the iPhone still, and it would be neat to see something small.
That's going up. I think everyone knows that. All that's changing. Also, a lot of uses of jQuery on iPhones are things like JQTouch, which is a different story. We don't have to talk about it.
Which is like a single page.
Yeah, it's a single page. So if you only load it one time for your single page application, then it doesn't matter if you didn't cache it because it's one time. Kind of.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's complicated. But that was interesting just to hear that they've sort of, after doing a bunch of research, it sounds like, kind of changed the approach to that.
Reals.
John talked about how another thing that they sort of revisited and rethought was getting some sort of dependency management into jQuery. He mentioned that was something that had been initially planned for 1.4, and they just realized that it was more complex than they wanted to solve quickly. They're definitely trying to make it so that whatever system they put in place is going to be friendly to the majority of users, it sounds like, and that's a real concern, that they don't build a system that ends up getting misused. And so I'm still sort of interested to see what happens with that, but I'm glad to hear that they're being deliberative about it and thinking about how to do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited to see that.
One thing John mentioned wouldn't be moving into core was the widget factory from jQuery UI, which I talked about on day 2 of JQCon. I gave kind of an overview, trying to sell people to that, because the widget factory is a great way to make plugins. It's just lets you hit the ground running and get a lot of the bullshit out of the way. Yeah. So while that's not going to necessarily go into core, it doesn't need to go into core for you to use it. It's just a base class. Start building your widgets off of it. You can check out my slides. They'll be online. Links, all that hotness. And I can't encourage you enough to start using the widget factory. Really, I just can't. There's no way I could meet the threshold.
There's nothing you could say that would be sufficient, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so one last bit of conference news, not about conferences we have been at, but at conference we will be at, if hopefully after you hear this show. We'll get this out before then. We're still looking forward to TXJS coming up in June. I can't believe that it's only about 4 weeks away as we record this right now. Our speakers are extraordinary. Our sponsors, Bazaar Voice, Facebook, Google, Couch.io, Natobi, and like 10 other people that I'm forgetting right now. It's turned into a whole lot more than we were ever imagining it would be. And we just found out that we've got 2 more awesome speakers coming. Dan Webb is going to visit us from Twitter and talk about @Anywhere from Twitter, and Tom Achino from Facebook is going to come talk. I think he's going to talk about some of the performance stuff they've been doing at Facebook, kind of what McKinday talked about at JSConf. So if you got a ticket, we can't wait to see you. And if you don't have a ticket, well, get a ticket next time. Don't miss out.
For sure. Tom's also from MooTools to round out our everybody from every library ever. So I think we're fair. I mean, sorry, Kooks do an EXT, but you don't count.
Yeah. Well, David Kaneda is going to be there.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He's not
There's EXT.
Speaking. He's not speaking. But yeah, we've got MooTools, we've got Dojo, we've got Prototype, we've got jQuery 6 Ways to Sunday, and
do we have Fuse.js?
Dalton failed.
Yeah.
Fucking Jay Dalton.
I'm a failure. EXTS is a failure.
He's moving to Ohio to get closer to David Mark. We forgive him, but next time he's going to be there talking.
Totally going to be there. I know it.
That was actually a really great talk at JSConf. The best part was whenever Jay Dalton said that he can emulate Prototype faster than Prototype can be Prototype. It wasn't. That was great. But even better than that was sitting next to Andrew DuPont of the Prototype library as he said that and seeing his reaction. Maybe we'll talk more about that other times. I think he has a deep respect for Jay Dalton, but he definitely has some different opinions. And that also ties back into some of the mobile stuff for jQuery. Andrew DuPont has contributed a lot of BlackBerry enhancements to jQuery due to his work at GoWallace. So thanks, Andrew, for jQuery help and being cross-browser awesome.
So, I mean, it was fun going to all these conferences, but at some point, we all just needed to come home, come back to real life, and that's what we're going to do with this episode now. We're going to get back, just tell you about some interesting JavaScript happenings, no big deal, no big whoop. I know, Paul, you had some big news. You were moving on from molecular/isobar, but before you left, you sort of dumped a whole wealth of knowledge on the world with the standards, usability guidelines that you had come up with.
Yeah, totally. This is at bit.ly/isobar standards, and it is basically all this like coding standards, performance recommendations, ways to communicate with your client about how to talk about performance and how to talk about a cross-browser strategy. SEO and accessibility, and just kind of like everything that should be a topic of discussion for front-end developers. And it's just the stuff that me and my team has been working on for the past 3 years, and so we just wanted to share it with everyone and get everyone else's input. So it's pretty rad. Check it out. There's some good stuff in there.
And so, hey, Paul, where are you going?
I got a job at Google. I will be on the Google Chrome team doing developer relations. I will be doing kind of evangelism for Chrome extensions, Chrome OS, and also HTML5 and the challenge and campaign to make everyone's website faster and better.
And can I ask the question that's on every listener's mind right now?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Will yayQuery continue in light of your transition? We're waiting.
He's considering it now.
Are you thinking about it?
Please say yes. I know Google has that awful no unicorns policy.
Maybe if we can get our listeners to clap, then
loud enough all together,
then fairies will really exist. And Paul Irish will continue to do yayQuery. So if I could just hear you guys clap. Okay, we'll do yayQuery.
Okay, so yayQuery survived.
Yes.
Good news.
yayQuery.
And then another thing that has survived. Oh, that sucked. Microsoft has proposed a data linking proposal for adding sort of data linking, which is pretty nifty stuff. It's going to allow for creating really, really rich interactions, but also tying things together so you can bind to attribute change events. It's going to allow you to simulate mutation events. And there's a cool demo that jQuery just tweeted the other day, but this is going to start powering a lot of stuff, data grid kind of components. So we really invite you to check out what's going on with the data linking stuff. It's on the forums.
That's in addition to their templating plugin that they've contributed to. So Microsoft is really kind of trying to put in some good open source code lately, and I appreciate that from them. Props.
Oh yeah.
And do you guys think this is part of a larger data management strategy for jQuery, or
a data what?
Data management strategy, like dealing with data and communicating.
Oh, so like a jQuery email client kind of thing?
No, well, yeah, I mean, like having the concept of models rather than just having pretty raw AJAX calls, like having the concept of models and being able to update them and that sort of stuff. Like, is that where it's going?
It's not that abstracted.
I know
it's more
this
like,
isn't.
I don't think it's necessarily going that direction. No, I'd say this is kind of like the end of the line as far. I don't think they're building on top of this to make something crazier or anything like that.
Okay.
I wouldn't say so.
But some kind of thing that is crazy and awesome that does build on this kind of technology is SlickGrid, which I guess we can call our plugin of the week this week.
Yeah, totally.
Someone's got to put a badge on their website, right?
Yeah. We didn't do a song. It's
plugin of the week. So what's SlickGrid? SlickGrid is an awesome grid. It only supports like 100 and thousands of rows. So if you have any data set at all, it should pretty much handle it. It does it by doing virtual rendering, which is pretty sweet. Only the elements that are actually visible in the viewport are ever rendered, and nothing else is like physically in the DOM at that point. So that's how it's able to achieve such mind-blowingly awesome speed.
Is this a jQuery plugin, or is it?
It is a jQuery plugin.
It's not to be confused with Slick, the new selector engine in the new beta release of MooTools, which just came out, I believe, very recently, and is nifty. it should be mentioned on the yayQuery podcast.
Absolutely.
Yes, it should.
Cool.
Maybe that's all that is going to be mentioned on the jQuery podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that the sound of silence I am hearing?
Yeah, I think I'd like to thank some of our sponsors. Who are they again? I think it was TinyCDN, who recently tweeted us and said that some of our listeners have gone to them, signed up for TinyCDN, and mentioned our name.
That's how it's supposed to work.
You did not advocate that type of behavior enough.
Do that more.
Yeah, totally. It makes them keep sponsoring us, which is cool. Who has sponsors? Anyways, also Devotee just celebrated its first birthday today as we record this, and we're not going to disclose what day it actually is, but you can probably figure it out due to the context. It's definitely Sunday night. So Devotee, TinyCDN, props. Thanks for being sponsors. Peace out, JSConf, JQCon. Check out some of the vids that are out there. We love you. We'll see you at TXJS and next week on the yayQuery podcast.
Okay. So.